All right guys, so today we got something a little different. We are going to attempt to fix my electric lawnmower. It has been a wonderful piece of equipment. I've had it for 3.5, I think I'm in my 4th season now. And it's just been great, but as the last few weeks it's been acting up. And today I got all geared up to mow my yard and she doesn't do the cutty thing anymore. So we are going to run through some checks and try to figure out what's going on. Now, I am not an electric lawnmower scientist, so I am going to have to just kind of try to figure this out. And I'm hoping that whatever I do find out, maybe someone out there can use what I've learned to help them if they run across the same problem. So I'm just going to dive into it and try to figure out what's going on, and we'll move on from there. So before I kind of get into what it's been doing, I think I want to do some safety here and maybe do the smart thing and take the blade off. So first I want to do is I want to take the battery out so that the blade can't turn. And then I'll just quickly remove the blade. Nice thing about these electric mowers is you can just kind of turn them over and there's no gas or oil spilling out. And looks like it could be cleaned a little bit. I do sharpen the blade about 3 times a year, so that's still pretty nice. I've got a wrench here that should do the job. Just like that. And we'll put that aside. Okay. So, no more danger. Okay, flip this back over again. Oh. Looks like the adapter wanted to come off too. Cool. All right, so first of all, I'm not sponsored by Ego, but I highly suggest this line of lawn equipment. I've got this, I've got the blower, I don't know if you can see, and I've also got the weed whacker, and the batteries are all interchangeable, and it's just a really good system. I've never run out of battery power on this big boy here doing the lawn, but if I did, I could just throw in my small battery from the blower. It should be good to go. So I'm really happy with it. It's been great until the last couple of weeks. It's just kind of stopped doing its thing. So what it's been doing is the worst kind of problem. When something breaks, you can fix it, but this is an intermittent problem, and that's always the worst kind because they work or they don't. And so of course I tried mowing today, didn't get any blade turning, put it up on the bench and the blade started turning. So of course, in any case, what it's doing is the battery seems to be okay, the wheels work, the lights work, but the blade won't turn. And I have a feeling it has something to do with one of the safety mechanisms. So from what I can figure out here, they're big on safety on this. This isn't like a 1970s or 80s lawnmower where it's just a carburetor and along the line they put in a safety latch to let go of the blade on the handle, but there's got to be all kinds of safety stuff in here. I would say that there's a switch up here you can hear click, and a light turns on when I do that. So I think that's working, and that engages the blade. And then right here on this handle it says to start, fully extend side rails and then lock them into place. And that's this situation. And so I guess they don't want you to be able to start it up with it, folded up and accidentally, get something in your foot or whatever. So you can hear a little switch. Hopefully my microphone picks that up. You can hear that engage. That's the second safety. And then also what I figured out is that, see, you can fold this thing down all the way and store it like so, which is how I store it. Because the other cool thing is you can just take this thing and stand it up and store it like that, which is what I do. You can just roll it right underneath the workbench, unlike a traditional lawnmower that you can't do this because gas and oil will spill everywhere. So I think most people probably just roll their mower into the shed and leave it like a normal lawnmower, but I'm tight on space and I like to use all my space the best I can. So I like to store it like this. I think that might be part of what has caused the problem, is that, they designed this to be able to fold up, but I kind of don't think they designed it for someone like myself that's constantly folding and unfolding it. So I have a feeling that with an intermittent problem being the way it is, to me, I think it's probably a frayed wire or a crimped wire or a loose connection. And I bet it's right in here because that's kind of the moving point of this situation. So let's go through and check this out real quick. The battery is in, and you can see I can turn the headlights on and off. So I know that the battery's working, okay? And I can move it. The wheels work. So I know that the battery is connecting with the wheels. And right now, see, I can't do, this is how you turn the blade on, and I have no blade, but I would expect that because I'm not extended. So let me extend it now. All the way out, click it, and the blade is off of the machine so I can't get hurt, and I will try to start it. Okay, and see now the blade is starting. And this is the intermittent thing, is that sometimes the blade starts and sometimes it doesn't. And for the last couple of weeks, as I've been mowing, it just kind of starts cutting out and cutting in and cutting out. And now finally it just stopped working. Of course, I put it up on the bench and it works. So that's gonna make this a little more interesting to figure out what's wrong, but I'm gonna just pretend it's broken because it essentially is. I couldn't mow the lawn today. So the fact that the blade starts turning when I fully extend it tells me that this switch works and this safety mechanism here works. And that leaves me with my last theory of safety mechanism, which is inside of this handle, because it probably won't work here. I'm guessing we'll try it. See, no blade turning, because this is, they don't want you running it in this position. They figure you're storing it or whatever. And then I can bring it back to the first of 3 different positions you can hold it in. It probably will turn on. And see that? No worky. Okay, that's good probably, because now we can see that it's broken. We'll come down again to the next one. This is for a taller person. Oh, look at that. Not working. This is great. We'll go down here to the next one, to the lowest position. The light's turning on, but no blade. I think that's the lowest position, that is. So I'll just try to, I'm gonna turn this on and try to kind of walk it around. Did you hear that? I think it tried to turn on. All the different positions. Oh, there it goes. See that? Oh, see that? I'm holding the trigger. I push up on it, it turns on. I pull down, it turns off. So everything on the mower is working perfectly except for this situation, safety mechanism. So to me, that points to a weakness or a breakage in this deal here. There's, with this wires coming down into here, going into the electronics, there's gotta be something in here that is not happy, and likely once I take this apart, it'll be fairly evident to see if there's something crimped or frayed or grounded out or something weird. So like I said, I'm not an electric lawnmower scientist. I have no idea what's underneath all this, but it's just a few Phillips head screws. So before I go out and buy a whole nother lawnmower, you know, I'll give it a shot, see if I can, you know, fix it. That's what we do. We try to fix stuff. So the more you do, the more you learn, the better you are. And hopefully someone out there can use this experience as well and save themselves several $100s and keep their old lawnmower running. So I'll gather up some tools and start taking this thing apart, and we'll go to the next step. Okay, so it looks like so far all I need really is a Phillips head screwdriver, and I've got 1, 2, 3, looks like maybe 6 screws. So we'll start there and see how far we get. Like I said, I have no idea what I'm going to find when I get into here, but we will figure it out, because we usually do. There's another one right here. And right back here. And probably the same 3 on the other side. There it is. Probably try to be careful not to strip these out. My guess is they aren't made with the highest of quality screws, but stripping out screw heads is kind of my favorite pastime, so just try to be careful. You know, a deal like this, there's no guarantees. Maybe I can't even figure out what's wrong with it, or maybe it's not fixable, or maybe I just go on a goose chase. But if you don't try, you just end up spending a bunch of money. So that's my advice always, is before you buy something, man, just try to fix it. Grab a wrench, grab a screwdriver, and see what you can do. I think that might be it. Let's see if anything's loose here. Hey, she's loose. Cool. Maybe I didn't get one of them out enough. Come on, little guy. Not exactly sure what is holding me up here. Feels loose. I would have thought it would just come off, but oh, looks like I'm held up on this handle. I'll collapse this, get it out of the way. I bet that works. Hey, look at that. Don't overthink it, right? Wow, look at all this. Okay. This is neat. That almost looks like a memory stick. Why would it need memory? That's cool. All right. Okay, so the wire comes in here, comes through here, and hits to the motor. I also have this one that comes in. I'm just gonna take a quick look at the wire connections and see if I can see anything wrong. Nothing yet. Grab a light. So I've got wires coming down in and through here. It's these 2 sleeves, and I have a feeling that I'm pinched in this hinge right here, but that's just a guess. This one has a blue and black, and they go down to the motor, so that's going to run the motor. And this one has a red and black and a white, actually all kinds of them here. And this right here looks to me, this right here to me looks like the switch. I bet you this is my safety switch. So yeah, okay, see, so I have a red wire going down to the motor, and I've got 3 wires coming in and 1 going out. So this is probably this is like the 3 safety switches that we talked about earlier, that all come in, and they probably all have to hit positive for this to give me juice going to the motor. That's why there's only 1 going down there. And then this one, I'm not sure, this could actually be the drive. This might go down to the wheels. The big red scary wire looks to me more like, oh, look at that, it is a switch. Look at that, neat. I don't see any broken connections. I don't see anything that's obviously ripped or frayed. So what I'm gonna do, I think I have a better idea of what's actually going on here. I think what I'm gonna do is get a tester out and a voltmeter and see if I can chase a little bit here and diagnose what's going on, or maybe see if I can get the handle back up and replicate the problem and get a little more info. So we will get set up with that and move to the next step. Okay guys, so what I figured out here is this switch right here that I thought was a safety switch. It is, but it's not quite what I thought it was. So you can see how it's depressed right now and it snaps out. See this? I don't have any wheels, but when I do this, it moves. So what I figured out this is here, this depresses into here. What this is it's the actual safety mechanism that is part of my problem. So you see it pops open right here, it's popped open, and I don't have wheels. There's no, it's cut off. This is the main power to the wheels and the turning sharp thing. So what happens is when I lower this into a usable position, you see a little cam kicks out and depresses that switch. And now I got wheels. So this is the safety switch that makes it so that the handle has to be in a working position. What that tells me is that switch is working just fine. The wiring going to it's just fine. And so I'm working up to the motor, I'm working up to the safety switch, and I'm working up to the switches above it. That leads me only between them, which is the hinge, which is what I kind of suspected was the problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the blade and pin it. And see it turned on, which is great. I'll pin it on if I can do that. Okay, so the blade's turning. Now, I have two wires coming out. This one, no problem. This one. Oh, what's that? Look at that. There it is. See that? This is my problem. There's something going on. It isn't these connections at this plug-in. It's not down below. Nothing's wrong here. This connection's good. Connection going in, we know the red one going into the switch is good. So it has to be from here up in here. See if I can get it to fire again. You know, I might have just wiggled it loose for its last time. Okay, so this is definitely the problem, is this wire in here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take and see if I can figure out how to get into this. And I'm thinking it's probably just two screws. So let's get this off real quick and see what we find. This is great news because, you know, a broken wire is easy to fix. I'll take that all day next to a motor or a, oh, she's happy again. All I did was loosen it and it turned on. Okay, so I will leave it on. This is exciting. I like fixing stuff. There's nothing better than having a plan of attack and having it work. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, look at this. If you look in here tight, this big wire right here that's coming in, look at that. Look at that bulge right there. That, I bet, is the problem. I mean, it's not like there's bulges all along it. This is where it hits and gets pressed every time it hinges. Let me pinch it on again and see if I can isolate it. See, now it's not working. Wiggle this around a little bit. Now it's just super unhappy. pull on it, push on it. Doesn't want to work at all. That wire in there might have just been hanging on, it might have just broke. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this sheathing back all the way up into here and pry it open and take a look and see if I can find a broken wire that hopefully we can just splice and repair. So I will get set up for that and cut that open, and we'll move on to that next step. Okay guys, so here's what I figured out. I took and pulled the sheathing off of all these wires, and there is unfortunately no breaks or heat spots or anything visibly wrong with any of them, but I'm pretty sure we're down to this black wire being the problem. So let me see if I can get this to happen again. I'll peg on the motor. And see that it stopped. It goes on, goes off, goes on, goes off. So what that tells me is right here under the hinge where, you know, I kind of thought we'd have a problem just from it bending and all that too many times. This has failed internally. There's a tiny bend right here. I don't know if that's enough, but I mean, it seems like it's maybe become broken inside, or the brittle, or it overheated or something. But right here is a failed wire. So what I'm going to do is just cut up to here and down to here and put in a piece of patch wire and fix it up, get it all put back together again, and we'll check back and see if I was able to successfully fix this with a patched wire job. Okay guys, so I think I got this all fixed up. So what ended up happening was this black wire here, it has a pretty good kink in it, a bend, and what was happening, I believe, was it was getting hot and the little wires inside were melting together and grounding themselves out. This ended up being a little trickier than I had hoped, because I thought it was just a black wire and I could put a wire and connect it. When I took it apart, I realized it's 3 tiny wires. So I ended up with a 3-wire fix. I've unplugged this. This plugs back into the harness, and I've got from here to here is my new wire, and I've got all 3 wires all fixed up and heat shrunk and soldered. Over here you can kind of take a look at all the tools that I used, and now I'm not a soldering scientist, not even very good at it, but I'm pretty sure that I got these pretty secure. So I feel good about that. So what I want to do now is just have some of this auto looming tape. I'm just gonna get this thing taped up and back in the loom, and then we can test it and see if we've made progress here. I feel pretty confident that we've isolated the problem. And when I took and tried splicing these little wires apart to work on them, the pink wire and the black wire were melted together. So I think that maybe once it got kinked, the blockage created a kind of a bottleneck on the voltage, and it got hot. And wires don't seem to like that. And so they ended up melting together. And so at certain positions, they, you know, would heat up and touch each other. Now I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure that they designed this lawnmower with my kind of use in mind, where I fold it and unfold it every time I use it. But, you know, it seems like they would have figured out a way to keep these from kinking. But, you know, I'm not a lawnmower engineer, so I can't really speak to that. But not a big fix, not a big problem. Hopefully it worked out. We're going to find out here in a second if it did. Okay. Wrap that up. Good. Very good. And I'll see if I can plug this back into the harness. Blue is on the bottom, blue is on the bottom. This should just kind of snap in, and it does. Okay, now let's stick these back in here while I've got it open. Hopefully these fit back in here after I spliced it all. I'm gonna tuck back in there. Okay, looks good, and this will just slide back down and hook back in. So we're plugged back in, safety switch is in, we're wrapped up, we're soldered, we're good. I should be able to put the battery back in, check for voltage, turn the headlights on, they work, looking good. The wheels work, and moment of truth, does the blade turn? Yay! I'll try a different position. Blade work. Yep. And it hang all the way down. And then if I go up beyond, let's go to the highest one. Perfect. And we'll go up. So you can hear that click. That's that safety switch. And I go back around, and it should not turn on now because the safety switch is disengaged. Nothing. Now let's try kick it back on. Final test of the day. Boom. Yay! And Wrench Rookie does it again. Just saved several $100s. Don't need to go buy a new lawnmower after all. Super cool. Super happy. You know, these things happen. You use things, and this is a great machine, but things happen. You just got to fix them. So I'm glad this worked out. So I'm hoping that this will help other people. These are 4 or 5 year old machines now. I'm sure there's other people out there having the same problem because it wasn't that bad and it didn't take that much use to make it bad. So in any case, hope this helps. I'm going to get to mowing my yard now. So I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.